everybody is scratching their heads and they're saying, well, why aren't prices going higher at a time of war? Normally they would. So I'm curious to hear your take.
Well, here's the good news. American production is at record levels. We are producing about 13 million barrels of oil every single day, which, as you pointed out, is record production and back to pre-pandemic levels. That is the good news. The bad news is most of that production is actually occurring on private lands. But a lot of American production, about 20% of American production is on public lands and in public waters. And the administration, those are the areas that this administration has direct control over. They continue to put a damper on American production on public lands and in public waters. We could be producing more, but the regulatory environment in this country continues to get more stringent on American oil and gas. And that is bad news for American consumers.
Mike, I want to pick up on that because Jackie mentioned what we could be producing if we weren't restricting output. She said 15, 16 million barrels a day. I wonder if that's your number as well. But beyond that, what difference would that make practically right now in terms of foreign policy? I mean, the sense I get, it would strengthen our hand meaningfully. Is that where you are?
Well, we're in a much better place than we were during the oil embargo from the early 1970s, when the United States was not producing as much oil and gas. And in fact, those numbers continued to go down throughout the 1970s, again, by the way, because of bad government policies. We have a real advantage here in the United States now because our production can continue to increase if we get the regulatory and the policy environment right. But that's going to take an administration that's really focused on increasing American energy independence. Again, the good news is that we're at record production. The bad news is that we could be doing more. The other thing that we need to consider is even as we've reached record levels of production here in the United States, demand continues to go up as well. We're sitting on record demand for oil and gasoline products and natural gas as well. So we need to be producing more here in the United States to give us a buffer, particularly in this foreign policy arena, because the world is becoming more volatile, not less. And if we don't have American production, American consumers are going to be hurt.
Yeah.
Mike, I wanted to ask you, as we understand and see that oil prices are not spiking at the moment, I mean, it does seem like we have a war breaking out in Israel with the possibility and concerns that it could rise to a regional conflict. So there's the possibility that we could see the oil prices spiking in the future. What more could policymakers be doing here at home? You say produce more. What do they need to be thinking about? Should we be doing things like replenishing the SPR?
Well, we should really be concerned about the policies that are being pursued by this administration. Let's just think about what they've done in the last couple of months. They've taken off production in the Alaska National Wild Refuge. They don't want us to be producing anymore in an area where that has actually been designated as a big petroleum reserve for this country. They've taken off production in the Gulf of Mexico. They took off 6 million acres of production in the Gulf of Mexico. There won't be one lease sale in the Gulf of Mexico next year because of policies of this administration. And we're watching other regulations that are coming out of this administration. So honestly, the things that they should be doing right now are the exact opposite of what they're doing. And if we can, again, get these policies right, we will be able to produce more and be able to fill that strategic petroleum reserve once again, because we're likely going to need it during a potential shock if we're not careful in the world environment right now.
Mike Sommers, thank you so much for joining us this afternoon. We'll see you again very soon. Thank you.
Great to be with you.